the fact that women have to choose between having a career here or having like a husband and a family is a big reason why this might have happened, to be honest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Abroad Japan podcast. I'm your host, Chris Broad, and we're joined, as always, by England's top Japan enthusiast. He's in a very much nicer studio than I am, Mr. Pete Donaldson, from the comfort of his cosy studio as I sit in a freezing hotel with the flimsy damn window. You can hear it.
Flimsy
or you can
window.
see it on YouTube. How you doing, Pete? What's going on?
I'm good. I mean, when Chris looks for an acoustically treated part of his hotel room, he obviously chooses the biggest pane of glass possible. It's just the way he lives his life when it comes to. Because to be fair,
I like to complicate things.
I'm enjoying it.
Why make life easy? Why not? Like, I'm good at making my life more difficult than it needs to be. Daily episodes, daily videos is one idea.
Daily videos.
This window, right? I don't know what's happening. This is glass, but the cold air is coming through it. So it's the most porous fucking window ever made by humans. It's so cold in here.
Why have you done this to yourself, for crying out loud? You've chosen the coldest part of the room. You've chosen the most reflective part of the room. So, you've obviously stayed in some absolutely honking hotel rooms in the past few weeks on Journey Across Japan. What has been your favourite hotel? Is this the favourite hotel? Is this a good one?
It's just a business hotel, isn't it? Middle of the road
stuff.
stuff.
Just a business hotel.
It gets the job done. I must admit, after camping on the island with Connor 2-3 weeks ago, whenever it was, anything with a bed and heat is a glorious thing. I've never slept in such cold conditions before. For the first time in my life, I truly appreciate what cold is. It's waking up at 3 a.m, shivering so hard, and not being able to heat yourself no matter what you do. It was bloody scary. We shouldn't have gone camping in those dodgy sleeping bags. Obviously, the buck stops with me a little bit, arranging it. And I thought the guys...
Literally your whole plan. Little bit.
The guy who owns the island and his camping friend, they provide all the equipment. And they were like, oh, yeah, don't worry, we'll do like a camping thing, it'll be great. And I was like, awesome. And every box was ticked, everything went smoothly until night came and we got in the tent, realised we had like an Amazon basic sleeping bag, and we were like, wait a minute, this is not good. And I got in it and I was freezing solid, and that was the stupidest thing.
You cannot cheap out on that kind of...
We know that now. We know that now. 2 Amazon's basic sleeping bags. In some respects, I don't regret it, because now I appreciate the cold to a point that if I ever go camping again in the cold, which I most certainly won't, I'll be much better prepared. And also, because I was so cold, I had like 1 minute sleep. I'd like no sleep at all. I kept waking up every 5 minutes. I'd fall asleep, wake up immediately because I'd be shivering so hard. And I had like 20 lucid dreams. It was really cool. I had like this really weird... Yes. It might be dying. I don't know. Maybe I died in that tent and this is all a dream. But it was very lucid. Like, I had these really emotionally charged dreams that I lived out in that tent. And it was good.
This is why you didn't have to do, videos on the road constantly. Just being... Your brain went, just take me anywhere else, for crying out loud. Are you going to start doing like Wim Hof style jumps into ice lakes now? You've kind of conquered the cold.
I wish. I don't know how people do that, honestly. I don't know how people swim in cold water. You must pass out the moment you get in.
I think Wim Hof is Wim Hof, isn't it? German bloke.
Yeah.
He's obviously like a self-care kind of guy who tells people to just jump in cold rivers and stuff like that. I'm fairly certain I read that he's got a very interesting origin story. Like, he went to meet his estranged son, who was like 16 or something, maybe a little older, in a town, and because that's what he does. He jumped in a fountain and gave himself a watery... So I'm going to say enema. He fired water from one of the fountains up his bum, and it's the sort of thing apparently he used to do quite a lot in this part of the world. And he didn't know, but the council had changed the nozzle on the fountain that he used to use, and it ruptured his entire guts. And his son, who he'd not seen for a while, and this was supposed to be like a moment where they reconnected. He had to sort of take him to hospital because he'd fired water up his bum. And this man is being followed by millions of people around the world. And he's in a public fountain firing water up his bum.
Jesus
it's
Christ.
just.
This is one story I have not heard. I forgot about Wim Hof, though.
I think there's another part of the story that I'm not 100% on, so I'm not going to mention it. But read up on it. I think he's a fascinating chap for one followed so readily.
I remember learning about him before. So his philosophy is just let's go and swim in the cold and take off our clothes and be cold.
Yeah.
In a nutshell. Yeah. Is that what he does? Like, what's...
Yeah, he just jumps in the pool and goes, yeah, thumbs up, yeah.
Oh, he's the Iceman, isn't he? He's the Iceman.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He jumps in the ice, yeah.
Very good, very good. Did you get anything good for Christmas, Pete? Wim Hof aside?
No. I made a request. There's a donut man. Chris, there's a donut man outside Southend. Outside Southend ice cream, outside a Southend ice cream parlour, and he's actually outside a few, and he's basically one of those kind of like mascots that food concerns buy to demonstrate what they've got for sale inside. The classic one is the hot dog man pouring ketchup on himself. He's like a statue. He's a big, horrible-looking, kind of squinting, rotten hot dog man eating like basically he's about to eat himself because he's so delicious. He's putting ketchup on his head and mustard and stuff. And there's also a chips, like a kind of portion of sort of Belgian-looking chips, pouring like mayonnaise and stuff on him. And then there's a donut man who looks. He's an interesting character, but you can basically buy these fiberglass. I googled it, and you can buy these fiberglass donut men for like about £250. And that was my request from my partner for a Christmas present. Oh. But she didn't get me Donut Man, unfortunately. So, she said it would scare people. She said it would be a waste of time and money. I'm just a little bit disappointed, to be honest, Chris, because I needed the Donut Man, and I will get a Donut Man in the future. I promise you.
Well, you'll get your Toyota Century soon, and that's the real Christmas
pop
present.
Him in the Toyota Century.
You'll have it
I'll pop him in the back of the Toyota Century. There are a lot of those, like on those, when there's like a big celebration in a town, they'll have like people carrying like massive, what they call, I don't know what they call. They look like big tombs, sort of thing. It's like a big sort of float in a big procession. Some Toyota Centuries have been modified to sort of like have the back end be one of those kind of like mad things. So maybe I can get involved with that, and Donut Man can sit on top of the blooming thing.
The coolest thing on Journey Across Japan was the RV, which we didn't really have in front of the camera that much, but we did later on in the series, as you'll see, and we turned it into like a nightclub one night for one video, and it was just really fun, like modifying a vehicle. Admittedly, our modifications weren't quite as impressive or bespoke as what you're envisioning for your car. It was mainly involved going to Daiso and filling it full of shit. But it was the idea of modding a vehicle, I think, could be a lot of fun. I'd like to do more of that. That'd be my career after YouTube. I'll mod cars. Really unsuccessfully.
Yeah,
I'll
everything aftermarket, just LED lights like sellotaped onto the dashboard.
It really was that bad. All right, this is a shorter episode than usual, guys, because it is Christmas, and it should be in chocolate pies and chocolate puddings and sprouts and turkey.
Sprouts.
So we're going to keep it short and sweet. We're going to tell you though the story of the week, what's going down in Japan this week. Mr. Dawson, fill us in with some Christmas cheer from Japan.
Some lonely Christmas cheer, Chris. There's no two ways of sugarcoating it with chocolate or otherwise. Nearly half of young Japanese men have never had a girlfriend. The Romance and Marriage Survey that was started in 2011 and has been conducting research into the dating landscape of Japan for every 2 years since has said that, after a total of 1,200 responses, 200 each for unmarried men and women in their 20s, 30s and 40s, young men and women were especially likely to have zero experience of being in a steady romantic relationship. 46% of men in their 20s said they've never had a girlfriend, and 30% of 20-something women replied they've never had a boyfriend. There was a sizable increase as well in the number of men in their 30s saying they've never had a girlfriend, while the relationship status or history of women in their 30s remained almost unchanged. I'm thinking, Chris, that these figures are obviously very, very surprising indeed. Japan's obviously, as discussed, got this incredibly heavy sort of work culture, which might be at fault here. But obviously, Japan's birth rate has also already seen a substantial decline. Will we be in a situation where this lack of love, this lack of romance, this lack of kind of coupling, we'll see an even further drop? Is it just because everything went app-based and everything went digital a little while ago? You kind of had to work a little bit harder to sort of get out there and meet people and meet a partner and become romantically engaged. But now it's all on the old computers and stuff, and people cannot be arsed.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why this is happening. Maybe people in Japan... honestly, it's one of these weird phenomena, isn't it? I know, like, women are becoming more independent in traditional Japanese culture, like in the West. People, women would stay at home, be a good wife and mother and whatnot.
They're also not putting up with absolute nightmare men as well, which is probably part of it. Women are going, I'm all right, thanks. There's not that much good stuff out there. I'll stay at home. Or don't just stay outside. Just stay away.
And I've met a lot of really ambitious women here who just are like, I don't want to date. I just want to do my career and not have anything get in the way. And I think that the fact that women have to choose between having a career here or having like a husband and a family is a big reason why this might have happened, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Haven't they heard of Tinder? Get Tinder. Everybody here.
Get Tinder.
Tinder, innit? That'll solve everything. I know there are a lot of apps here that are quite, that do the job of Tinder, but I don't know. Honestly, I think it's just a worrying trend across the board here, isn't it? People not dating, people not marrying, maybe having babies. What are we going to do about it?
What are we going to do about it? What we need is the Chris Broad gymnasium to get those young men the muscles and abs and thighs. Weren't it the thighs? I don't think.
I'm not sure that's the solution. I mean, I really don't know what Japan could do to... I was I'm in Yamagata now, right? And I was talking to somebody who's very good friends with the mayor of the town of Sakata. But we ended Journey Across Japan in like a day or two ago. And yeah, they got a real problem. They were like, our population's gone, basically. We're looking at boosting tourism. We want to see if you can help in any way. But like, I just don't know what they can do. It's a really unfortunate thing. And then you come here, you sort of come to the countryside, and it's so nice and wonderful and great. But then it's also like there's no jobs, so you can sympathise with the working population all heading off to Sendai or Tokyo, right?
If people want to get away from it, you presume that like you had like I suppose like a remote working being a big part of it. You would imagine that people would want to get away and sort of be able to work. Maybe a shift to remote working might kind of boost these kind of remote towns and villages. It's difficult. It really is. It's a real. I mean, what I would say is that if your origin story for your relationship is I travelled 1,000 miles through town, country, and city. To check out a massive octopus that the prefecture heads have spent money on, and I met my wife there under the octopus. Maybe we just mean more fiberglass.
It's not an octopus. It's a squid. Goddammit, a squid.
Sorry, a squid.
How dare you? I still need to go there. I still need to go to that town and see the squid. To be honest, but I do really want to do a documentary on Japan's sort of dying, disappearing countryside at some point. I think it's a really interesting topic, an important topic, because they're going to have to make some really big decisions out in the countryside of Japan going forward as to what the hell they're going to do. Because as the population disappears, they have to cut back on public services. It makes it less appealing to live there. More people move away, and it becomes this vicious, virtuous cycle of shit. That's not the technical term for it, but that's what it is. And as Natsuki always laments to me, Chris, population, everybody dead, no business. Natsuki said it better. Natsuki says it best.
You should talk to your bank.
Yeah. Natsuki, Natsuki says that population's dropped so much that he's lost business. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, a topic to cover in the new year. Definitely one of the documentaries I want to dive into. Do we have time for one question, Pete, from the Fax Machine?
Yeah, stick a question in there. Let's stick a question in there. We'll find a place for an ad break. Don't worry about that. Greetings, Catified Chris and Puppy Dog Pete. My partner and I are in our mid-40s and are old enough to remember when winters here in Pennsylvania were colder and much, much snowier. We're set to embark on a 17-day Japanese adventure celebrating everything snow and wintry soon. And we'll be stopping in Nikko, Nagano, Aomori and Sapporo. I mean, the people of Pennsylvania must be very prepared for this kind of this kind of wintry pursuits, wintry explorations. Do you have any tips for us to make the most of the snow in the winter whilst here? For example, do the snow festivals up north live up to the hype? Thank you, gents. And please fix climate change after the show today. If you can, that's what we'll be doing after the show. We'll be fixing climate change for Greta and the team. Rocco from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Thank you for your email, mate.
I mean, the only festival that I know off the top of my head in winter is the Sapporo Snow Festival. However, there are some good winter festivals in Nagano, the landlocked mountain prefecture as well, like the Shimotsuki Festival, where people run around and pour hot water over themselves. Sounds quite dangerous.
It does sound quite dangerous.
And actually,
I think you could be lured in with cold weather. You want the water hotter and hotter, and it's like, you've just scalded yourself, you idiot.
The Boiling Spectacular Festival. There's also the Nozawa Onsen Fire Festival in Nagano, which is an amazing festival. My friend went to it and loved it, and basically they just have a big roaring fire and thousands of people gather around it, and it looks like the end of the world. But Nagano might just be the capital for snow festivals, second only to Sapporo, the OG. Although last year, a few folks I know went, and they said it wasn't very good because they still had some COVID stuff going on, and there was like no food, and that was the best bit, all the food. So hopefully this year, and I don't think I'll go. I'm tempted, but I'm not sure. Hopefully this year they've got the food back there, and Sapporo Snow Festival's back to where it was, because that was really fun when we went back in 2019.
I want big long crab claws. Crab legs. I want big long crab legs.
There's loads of people that don't know the context of that, and they just think you're having a mental breakdown.
I'm just having...
Good crabs. Good crabs to Sapporo.
Good crabs.
Well, have yourself a happy new year, Pete, and to you guys listening, watching.
Yes.
Next time you see me, hopefully I won't be in a freezing cold hotel room dying in a corner. Hopefully I'll be in the warmth of the studio. I must break this wall. I must flee. But for now, guys, have a very happy Christmas, a very happy New Year, and we'll see you on the other side in 2024 for, I think, the 5th year or the 6th year of doing this podcast, amongst other things. And hopefully the last few episodes of Journey Across Japan, Non-Stop North, will also be out then too. But for now, have a good one, guys. We'll see you right back here to do it all over again in 2024 on the Abroad Japan podcast. Bye for now.
Ta-ta! Goodbye, all.